Okay, so we got one person. This is Haley. And we got Joey up top. And we got Zildadi on the bottom. That's my buddy. And then we got Miss Hannah. And then we got Mr. Adam. All right. So, have you guys ever had something bad happen and it actually ends up being a good thing once you look back on it? Because I was on my way to school one day and it was raining cats and dogs, just absolutely coming down. It was pouring and I was driving a white Volvo S60 2002, the typical teenage car, you know, like the Toyota Corolla, the Toyota Camry, the Honda Civic, whatever, you know, the typical car. I bought it myself. That thing was my baby. I was driving from Sevierville to Seymour. I was leaving my mom's house and I had to go to Seymour because I was going to Seymour at the time. And I don't know if you're familiar with the area, but there's a resort called the Wilderness, and there's a back road that I was going to take back there called Old Knoxville Highway. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Dragon's Tail. It's a really curvy road. Old Knoxville Highway is pretty much like a miniature Dragon's Tail. There's just a bunch of curves. And I remember being at the red light by the Wilderness before Old Knoxville Highway. And like I said, it was raining absolutely cats and dogs. And this truck pulled out in the opposite lane to make a turn. And he started hydroplaning. It looked like he was just driving sideways. And I was definitely thinking, like, this is not a good idea. I was fairly new to driving, but I just remembered if I was late to school or if I didn't show up or if I called my parents to take me to school, they'd have been super mad because I had super strict parents. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that. So in my head, I talked myself into driving. So I get on the road and I'm driving and this car is just flying around the corner. It's a big old green minivan. Looks like a big booger. And it was going like 50 miles per hour. They were driving it like they stole it. And it was raining. They came over into my lane. There wasn't anything I could do about it. And I knew I was going to get hit. And I looked at their tires and they were bald, absolutely slick as a whistle. And I got hit. I didn't go unconscious or anything, but it definitely shook me up. And I just remember trying to unbuckle my seatbelt and I couldn't because my right hand was swollen up because it was broken. It looked like Popeye. And I unbuckled my left hand and I turned the car off and I hopped out. And I remember my foot hurt really bad, but I was in such a rush. I had a lot of adrenaline going and my main focus was just to get on the road because I got knocked off the road. And once I got up there, there was an older woman laying face down and she was unconscious. She was out of it. And the cops showed up because bystanders called the cops and the ambulance came and they picked her up. I was fine. I had my parents take me to the hospital. But when we got there, they told us that she died and they had to CPR the whole way there. And they had to give her the electric shock multiple times and it didn't work. And they're going to try it one more time. If it didn't work, they were just going to pronounce her dead. But she actually came back, and from the electric shock and just like the convulsions that it caused her body to have, she had broke ribs. She had a broke back from the wreck. She was all scratched up. And you know, like, stuff hurts whenever you're older and everything. Like, I was in pain and I could only imagine what this old woman felt like. You know, she had to be every bit as old as my grandparents. And whenever she came back, she was super happy, super bubbly. She was glad to be alive. And she was super happy to hear that I was okay. And my family actually went and talked to her and they caught up and everything. They were really nice people. And in that moment, I was thinking, you know, like how unfortunate I was in all this. And, you know, I was 17, so that was just like a really big shock to me. And this older woman, you know, just ran through the ringer and was absolutely happy to be there and happy to be alive and happy to hear that I was okay. So it's hard to see in the moment that like bad things are actually good. And whenever you reflect on it, like all your mistakes or like shortcomings or bad things that can happen actually turn out to be a blessing. All right, that's it.